In Enel, we started to work on open innovation about 5 years ago, and the first thing that we did was to open an innovation hub in Israel, in Tel Aviv, which is one of the most amazing countries where you can find great startup opportunities to work with. We structure the team within the business line. We structure the team of our innovation hubs around the world in Tel Aviv, as I said, in San Francisco, in Boston, in Madrid, from which we cover all of Europe, and then in Italy, in Spain, in Brazil, in Chile, and in Russia. And from these innovation hubs, we are able to find the right startups to work with. We usually connect directly the business people of our company and the technology people of our company to startups to do testing activities, opening up our labs, our expertise, whatever is needed to the startup to finalize the development of the solution and testing it with us. And then if the test goes particularly well, we then scale it at a global level. So we help the startup to scale simply by becoming the client, one of the first big client for this particular solution. In addition to the innovation hubs and the collaboration with startups, we also have, we are open to collaborate directly with the innovators. Anybody that has any idea or any solution to our challenges can go online on our web portal, which is called www.openinnovability.com, and post their ideas or answer to any of our challenges. This has been quite successful so far. We grew from very small numbers at the beginning, and we are now growing and including more and more innovation into our business thanks to the collaboration with all the innovators and the startups that are out there. We measure success in open innovation by measuring mainly two things. The first one is how many proof of concepts, proof of values actually, we can make with startups and innovators in general and other big corporations and in general project of innovation. And this is showing us how open we are to the world that is outside there, to the technology and to the business ideas that are outside there, and that we might actually not be able to create or invent ourselves. We have done a lot of projects with startups. In the last 5 years, we've done about 450 projects, and we were able to scale 110 of them. And scaling is the second KPI that we consider when it comes to open innovation, because the real impact of innovation on our businesses, the one that actually has a direct impact, positive impact on our EBITDA and our margin, is simply what we are able to implement in the business. So testing activities, POC, proof of value, particularly important to look into what we are doing, how open we are to the rest of the world. But then the most important measure, which is the number of projects and solutions that we are able to scale up, bringing real impact and value to our group, thanks to the technology that we scale at global level. In the last couple of years, the innovation activities have been in Enel have been growing quite big. We started, as I would say before, a couple of years before, with just a few projects that we were doing, opening up ourselves to the world outside, and now we reached a very good scale. We have more than 100 projects that we do per year with startup, to which then you have to add an additional amount of projects that we do with our own employees that come up with new ideas, and innovators and challenges that we launch in collaboration with universities. So I think we started from like transforming a closed innovation to an open innovation with just a few collaborations that then proven themselves to be particularly successful, and we have been growing quite a lot, reaching a good scale for a big industrial company as we are. The main focus that we keep on all the activities that we do in innovation, although, is always and solely industrial. We are not looking to have a financial return from the innovation that we do. We look to industrial return. So we want to create value which is sustainable in the long term for our group, and we want to collaborate on innovation projects with anybody, but the most important thing, this would create value which is sustainable for us, for the startup, for the innovator that is collaborating for us, and for all the stakeholders that are around us. COVID didn't have a particularly impact on our open innovation strategies. Maybe what I have to say is that it had a little bit of a positive impact, because we realized during the pandemic that all of the efforts that we did in the last few years in remotizing the control of our assets, the monitoring, the remotizing our way of working, and digitizing all of the connections that we have with our assets and with our clients, helped us to go through the pandemic in a good enough way, like to be able to deliver well our energy to the people that needed it. And this means that innovation and digitalization is particularly useful. We realized that even more than we thought before, and so we decided to continue strongly with our open innovation strategy, to open up to all of startups and innovators that want to work with us, not only on digitalization, of course, but all on the other technologies as well that can help us to make this world a better place, a more sustainable place, especially related to the energy industry. We are open to look for many different technologies, of course, but the most important technological areas for us now are still the digitalization of our assets to make more efficient our relationship with our technologies, with our assets, but also, and most importantly, with our clients. And at the same time, what we are looking for, which is particularly important for us, is electrification of the final consumption. As our CEO would say, this decade that is coming in front of us is the decade of electrification. We need to support the final consumption of energy to become electrified, because electricity is the cleanest vector of energy, and of course electricity can be produced by renewable energy. So anything that has to do with renewable energy, electrification of final consumption, we would be super interested in looking into it and start a new collaboration to innovate and to create a real impact in the energy industry.